This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
It is day 3 of Donald Trump's forever war in Iran. It is being debated across the world right now. It seems to me the only people who are dead set against the elimination of the Ayatollah and their whole structure in the Iranian government are American liberals, Democrats, angry white ladies. They're calling it a mistake, illegal, immoral, and the rest of the world seems to be pretty happy, other than hardline Muslims in America and around the world. But most of the free world is on board, whether they joined us or not. But before we get to the merits of the attack, of the war, it's a war. Trump called it a war. Hegseth called it a war, even though it's only been 3 days. I don't think that quite qualifies as a forever war yet, but we will see. I think the big question is going to be what happens now. It's not what happened. We all can agree it's a good thing to eliminate the Ayatollah and all his underlings. But how long will it go? People keep asking Trump and Hegseth and everybody, Caroline Levitt, how long is it going to go? What a ridiculous question when you think about it. I understand why they're asking it, because that is important. But what is Trump supposed to say? What's Hegseth supposed to say? Well, it's scheduled for 6 weeks from Tuesday. We'll be wrapping it up and heading home. But, we're going to stick to that hard deadline. 6 weeks from Tuesday, come back to, we'll be done. We'll be done here. But before we get to the merits of the decision to wipe out the Ayatollah and everyone else in the power structure in Iran, we just have to marvel at the just incredible technology, the proficiency of the U.S. military and, yes, the IDF, the Israeli military. They are our allies. We have a common goal here. We'll get to that. But here's what happened this morning. If you're just tuning in, if you're just checking in on an update, this is just amazing. First of all, yesterday they announced we wiped out the Iranian Navy. They had 11 ships. Those 11 ships are now at the bottom of the sea. That's one of the 4 goals they outlined. One was destroy their ballistic missile capability. The other, obviously, stop the development of nuclear weapons. The third was wipe out their Navy. And we did it in a blink of an eye, just sunk all their ships. They have no ships. They have no air superiority over their own country. Israel controls the air. So I think it's been a tough couple of days for Iran. But today, this morning, it got worse. Here it is from Axios. The Israeli Air Force Tuesday struck the building housing Iran Council of Experts in the holy city of Qom in an attempt to disrupt the process of appointing a new supreme leader. The Council of Experts is the body within the Iranian regime with the authority to appoint a new supreme leader. The clerics on the council vote on a short list of candidates being drafted by a smaller secret committee. So they meet to vote on their new Ayatollah. And as they're meeting, Israel blows up the building today. It isn't clear how many survived, but there were 88 members of the Council of Experts convened at the time that Israel struck. We're not even going to let them pick a new supreme leader. Every time they try, they get wiped out. It must be so demoralizing at this point. I know they're going to continue to fight. I know Trump told them to lay down their arms and they get immunity. That is not going to happen. I don't know how the people of Iran are supposed to rise up. They're unarmed. We've seen what the Revolutionary Guard is capable of. We know they shot and killed about 36,000 Iranians who dared to protest just a few weeks ago. We know what they will do. They will kill if these people rise up. So that is a little dicey, asking them to rise up. But they have nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Israel's determined to fight on. So is the U.S. So it is going to be a bad week, 2, 3, 4 weeks for Iran, and I don't see a way out. Obviously, they can't use nukes. They don't have them. They have lots of ballistic missiles. According to Rubio, they build 100 a month, 100 ballistic missiles a month. So they have quite the stockpile. They will use it. They continue to use it. But there's really not a path to victory for Iran. I'm not sure when they wave the white flag and surrender, if that even happens. They have 100,000, I believe, in the IRCG, and they're trained, they're fighters, they're killers. They're not the type to just say, let's talk. We've had enough. So it is going to continue to rage on for a few more weeks. Unfortunately, our death toll is up to 6. That makes a lot of people on the left happy. They want this to go sideways. They want this to be a disaster because all they care about is stopping Trump, hurting Trump. And unfortunately, yesterday, I was kind of surprised to hear this, disappointed, because as you probably know, there's this debate raging on the right. Obviously, there's no debate on the left. Trump's bad. Ayatollah's good. They don't like this. They love this war. I shouldn't say they don't like it. They love this war because it's their way to stop Trump, to win the midterms, to maybe get the White House. So that's all they care. That's when you hear from Chris Murphy or Liz Warren or Dick Blumenthal or Hakeem Jeffries, that's all that mattered to them. Trump did it. It's something they called for. They wanted this. They wanted Iran stopped. They wanted their nuke program stopped, but Trump did it. So it's not good. It's bad. It's a disaster. It's going to get worse. That's what they're hoping for. They want this to go wrong. But there's also a faction on both sides of the aisle, and it's growing on the right, unfortunately, that does one thing in these situations. Just blames Israel. That's all. Blame the Jews. That's what they do. That's how it works. And as we talked about yesterday, there has to be American interests for Americans to buy in, to support this. There has to be a reason that this is good for America. And I laid out some of it yesterday. I'm going to do it again today. I'm all in. I've had enough. 47 years of this Iranian regime, this evil regime, killing, hurting, attacking, threatening Americans. At some point, you have to say enough. We always talk about Barack Obama drawing a line in the sand, saying you can't cross this line. They crossed it over and over again, and he did nothing. Every president since 1979 has considered Iran a threat and has promised to stop them in some way. None of them did a damn thing until Trump. Let me simplify. What if it was just when Jared Kushner and Witkoff sat down last week? They sat down Thursday with the Iranians and negotiated. And according to Witkoff, they had no desire to negotiate. They said, we're moving forward. Our goal is to get a nuke. They weren't backing down. At what point do you say, okay, here's what's going to happen if you don't negotiate, if you don't make some concessions? We are going to blow up your headquarters and kill you all. At some point, you have to follow through on those promises. And that is what Trump did here. That is what every other president has threatened to do and failed to do. So you have to, at some point, say, you have to back up your words, back up your threats. And that's what he did. I was hoping they would make that case, say, listen, we told them no nukes. They said, we're building nukes. And we said, okay, you left us with no choice. Because they really did leave Trump with no choice. What was he going to do? Just say, okay, we'll sit back and see how it goes. That's what other presidents have done. Why? For politics, for PR, for the perception. They don't want a war. They don't want Americans to die. They don't want things to get messy. So they just pushed it down the road. And here we are, 2026, and it's it's the reckoning is what it is. Trump saying, you won't negotiate, you won't concede, you won't disarm your nuclear program. We're going to do what we promised to do. And that's what he did. And you could go through the laundry list of Americans killed and captured and tortured by this regime. That would be good enough for me. Hell, they threatened to kill, they tried to kill Trump. That should be good enough for us. That's good enough. That's a good enough reason to kill the Ayatollah, because he threatened to kill Trump. He tried to kill Trump. I'm going to get to that. But yesterday, I feel like this was an unforced error from the Trump administration. The most articulate and thoughtful member of the Trump cabinet, Marco Rubio, who is just a superstar. It is hard to believe. I'm pretty sure this job was held by Anthony Blinken like a year and a half ago. That pathetic, spineless, wimpy squish was in this role. Talk about projecting weakness. Anthony Blinken, that weakling, that just sorry excuse for a American leader, was in this role doing this job. Rubio is the biggest upgrade we got. We got a lot of upgrades in this administration. This is the one. He spoke for about 12 minutes, and it was brilliant. He's brilliant. No notes, just winging it off the cuff, taking questions, making the case. But at one point, he said something, and I said, oh, no. Oh, here we go. He threw red meat to the blame the Jews crowd, is what he did. And I thought it was unfortunate. Yeah, it's probably true. This is a very transparent administration. He's like Trump. He just lays it all out there. But he said essentially that Israel forced our hand. Now, that may be, it's true. I believe it. But this is exactly what, Tucker Carlson and Candace Owen and so many, all the, all the Glenn Greenwalds and Dave Smiths and these people that blame everything on Israel. This is what they were hoping for. And unfortunately, Rubio gave it to him. Listen, I don't want to take it out of context. I don't want to just cherry pick it, because it was, as I said, about a 12-minute address from Rubio, and it was like all of his speeches and appearances. It was spectacular. I wish he worded this one differently. Here it is.
Why now? The first is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond against the United States. The orders had been delegated down to the field commanders. It was automatic, and in fact, it bared to be true, because in fact, within an hour of the initial attack on the leadership compound, the missile forces in the south and in the north, for that matter, had already been activated to launch. In fact, those had already been pre-positioned. The third is the assessment that was made that if we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties. And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act.
There you go. Again, no reason to doubt him. He said if they waited, Israel was going in. They were all set. They were going to go. It was go time. They did the reconnaissance, the intelligence. It was remarkable what Israel did. They hacked into the traffic cams in the neighborhood where all the leaders were meeting. They knew exactly when they were going to show up. You want to hear something just amazing about Israel and the Mossad? in the Iranian leadership, they thought they had a problem with spies, Mossad agents in the Iranian military. So they assigned one of the generals to root it out, to find the spies and eliminate them. You know who they assigned it to? A Mossad agent who was undercover, who was working in the upper echelon of the Iranian military. But they knew what they were doing. They had the time was right. It was 9 a.m. They were at brunch, which was unusual. It was during the day when they started this attack. And they said, we're going. And I guess the U.S. agreed that if Israel attacked without us, Iran would respond by firing missiles at our bases and killing our guys. So we said, we're in. That's fine with me. But my God, it just gave the blame the Jew. Israel is wagging the dog here. And Trump is taking orders from Netanyahu. It's nuts, but it's out there. It's growing. It's toxic right now, as you probably know, on the right. Megyn Kelly is all in. Tucker obviously all in. Tucker, and again, I'm not giving up on Tucker. He's an interesting guy. He's a contrarian, but man, he has a problem with Netanyahu and Israel. He blames everything on Israel. This is Israel's war. Israel forced us to go. Israel wants to take over the whole Middle East. And I'm listening to him yesterday, and I'm sorry, he went off the rails here. He claimed that he had sources who told him Mossad agents were in Saudi Arabia and Qatar plotting to bomb those countries, and kill people. Aren't we on the same side right now? Aren't we all against Iran? Iran's lobbing missiles into Saudi Arabia and Qatar and trying to hit, civilian targets. Same with Israel, of course. And he claims, here it is, that Mossad is in those countries planting bombs. Good.
So it's probably hasn't been reported, but it's a fact that last night in Qatar and Saudi Arabia, authorities arrested Mossad agents planning on committing bombings in those countries. Now, that's weird. That doesn't make any sense. Why would the Israelis be committing bombings in two Gulf countries, which are also being attacked by Iran? Aren't they on the same side? No. Israel wants to hurt Iran and Qatar and UAE and Saudi and Bahrain and Oman and Kuwait. And they've succeeded.
I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. Again, Tucker is a provocateur, a contrarian, and I still listen. I still want to hear what he has to say, but I don't believe Mossad was in. The Mossad agents got arrested. There's no report of this, no evidence, nothing backing it up. Got arrested bombing Saudi Arabia and Qatar. That'd be a pretty big story, I would say. Maybe he's right. Maybe there's more to come. But I think the Trump administration is missing an opportunity to remind everybody about the terror, about the death, the murder, the destruction. This regime, the Iranian regime, the theocratic fascists in Iran, that all the terror that they've sponsored, that they've committed around the globe. It's kind of strange. They tried to kill Trump. And I had to look it up. I had to go back and read. They arrested. There's a guy in prison in New York, Asif Merchant. He's Pakistani, but he was trained by the IRGC, and he came here with a plot to kill Trump. He ended up hooking up with an FBI informant, getting arrested, getting sentenced in July of 2024. The Biden administration, the Biden DOJ put this guy away. That's one plot to kill Trump. There's others, and they're verifiable. It's almost like a throwaway. Yeah, they tried to kill Trump. Well, I'm sorry. Wouldn't that qualify as a reason to take out the Ayatollah if he's plotting to kill Trump, hiring people to kill Trump? That's just one thing. There's many others, and we can get to them. But there's 1,000 U.S. soldiers killed or maimed in Iraq by Iran. There are guys walking around today with no legs. There are families still grieving, Gold Star families, because Iran killed American soldiers. We know 47 years ago, they took 52 American diplomats hostage for 444 days. What if they did that, a year ago, 2 years ago? They did it a long time ago, but it's the same leadership it was until Saturday, the same leadership. That Ayatollah was involved in the kidnapping and torturing of Americans. In 1983, they were behind the bombing of our Marine barracks in Beirut, killing 241 Marines. That was, 46 years ago, 45 years ago. What is that? Is there a statute of limitations? We say, it was a long time ago. Let's let by. It's the same guys calling for the same terror, the same murder today of Americans as they committed 45 years ago. And we're supposed to just put it behind us? I don't think this was rushed. This was rash. This was overdue. That's what it was. Overdue, this action. They weren't changing. There was no indication they were slowing down, changing. They still chanted death to America, death to Trump. They still had a stated goal of eliminating the United States of America. That's who they were. They're not that. That's who they still are. Not quite as effective. They don't have quite the leadership structure. But it really is an argument that they have to make, a case they have to make. These are people who killed Americans, who hurt Americans, who took Americans hostage, who tortured Americans. I just want to tell one story that I'd never heard. Well, I probably heard it, but it's been a while. And I thought, did anyone pay a price for this? This is a story of a guy named William Buckley, not William F. Buckley, William Buckley, CIA chief. Actually is William F. Buckley, but not the same William F. Buckley, the Republican pundit, the National Review guy. This is a different William Buckley. He was the CIA station chief in Beirut, a Green Beret legend. He was in Beirut in 1984 after they killed 240 Marines. He was sent there to rebuild the entire intel network. He knew the risk. He went anyway. On March 16, 1984, Hezbollah gunmen snatched Bill Buckley off a Beirut street. The IRGC directed Hezbollah from Tehran, grab this guy. He was kidnapped and then tortured. He was put into a coffin-sized cell, blindfolded, shackled 24/7, starved and sleep-deprived. They pumped him full of drugs. The puncture marks were seen when they did an autopsy. He was beaten methodically, one punch to the gut, one kick to the head, until his organs were mush. The Hezbollah psychiatrist, Aziz al-Aboub, and his Iranian handlers turned it into an art form, psychological rape designed to shatter the strongest will on earth. There on the screen is William Buckley. They wanted every name, every asset, every operation. They got 400 pages of confessions and 200 to 300 CIA sources. They hunted them down and killed them. Other hostages heard this through the walls, the torturing, the coughing up blood. They broke him. Hezbollah sent CIA 3 videos, each showing them torturing William Buckley, a once iron-willed warrior reduced to a gaunt, drooling shell. They denied him medical care. He got pneumonia. His heart finally gave out. June 3rd, 1985, tortured to death by animals who enjoy breaking Americans because their death cult tells them it's holy. They dumped his body in the street. We eventually got it, did the autopsy. That's what they did to this American hero, this Green Beret legend. This whole account is from a Twitter account at LH Gray. And you think that happened? Those guys were still running that country. Those guys were still spreading terror and death around the globe. And we're talking about, maybe we should have waited. Maybe we should have talked a little negotiations. Maybe we should have continued to negotiate. You know why they went forward with the nuke program and the ballistic missile program? You know why they continued to threaten everybody and threaten to kill Trump? Because they thought we were the paper tiger that we've been for 47 years. They thought we were going to do nothing. They thought Trump did the Operation Iron Hammer, whatever it was, in June, and he was done. He was like Biden. He was like Obama. He was like Bush. All talk. Well, they were wrong. And I think that's a good thing. And I think we will find out. We'll find out how this goes in the coming weeks. But it's certainly justified. I don't see how you can look back. And the list is long. They're out there. You want to see the list? They gave out a list of all the terror, the USS Cole, embassy bombings, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, Islamic Brotherhood, Islamic Jihad. These are all proxies, and they've committed terror and murder for 50 freaking years. Eventually, you have to say enough, right? Eventually, you just have to say you crossed the line. You crossed the red line. Now you must pay. That is what Trump did. I think there's a great way to make the case that this is for America. This is in our interest. And God knows it's in Israel's interest too, but we're not doing it, just because Netanyahu ordered us to. That is ridiculous and not helpful. Not helpful. All right. We got so much more to get to. We're going to get to Bill Clinton under oath. My favorite part. Bill Clinton was asked, have you ever lied under oath? And Bill said, me? Never. He was convicted of lying under oath, but it was kind of sad and pathetic. He's almost 80 years old. He's not looking good. And it was kind of humorous watching his testimony. We'll get to that. And I love this moment. Trump honored 3 free Medal of Honor winners at the White House. Good timing on this, and just incredible stories of bravery and courage. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. These are the best of the best. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
You don't always realize how bad your sheets have gotten until you finally replace them. If your sheets are piling, thinning, slipping, or overheating, that's your sign that it's time to upgrade to Boll & Branch. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made from 100% organic cotton and designed to hold their shape, stay breathable, and feel luxuriously soft night after night. You'll fall asleep faster, stay comfortable all night, and actually notice the difference the moment you get into bed. And they don't wear out. They get softer after every wash. The fastest and simplest way to upgrade your sleep is replacing your sheets. It's a one-time upgrade that pays off every single night. No setup, no habit building, no guesswork, just noticeably better sleep. They're buttery soft from the start, get softer over time, and help you relax the moment you lie down. You'll notice the Boll & Branch difference immediately. Boll & Branch sheets are made from moments of unmatched comfort. This is sleep you don't compromise on. We got our new Boll & Branch sheets, and I can tell you, I enjoy going to bed. Didn't know I needed them, but I love my new Boll and Branch sheets. Sleep sound with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com/Gerry. Code word Gerry. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/Gerry. Code word Gerry to unlock 15%. Exclusions apply. Wow. Trump is on fire this morning. He said Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson are not MAGA. So he's kicking them out of the MAGA club. This is going to get interesting. It's going to get nasty. But there's just lots of people buying into the blame the Jews take on this one. Not there. I am not there. Sorry. Hate to break it to you. The internet trolls have moved on from Trump has raped children, that made up story from the Epstein, not from the Epstein files, to blame the Jews. Now they're all in on the Jews made us do it. Anyway, we're not going there. Yesterday, they released the video of Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton testifying before the House Oversight Committee in Chappaqua. It was about what you'd expect. Hillary was nasty and defiant and combative and slamming the table and storming off, which we saw that first. And you can't help but feel bad for Bill. Bill's a degenerate pig, but man, he is paying a price for marrying this awful woman. And just picture Bill in the hot tub and then Bill in front of the Oversight Committee. He was much happier in those days. He just looks like a defeated old man, doesn't sound good, doesn't look good, but he went before the committee, said he's never lied under oath, and he did one important thing. He was asked about Trump. This is interesting. You know, Trump is kind of never, he's very soft, very easy on Bill. He says, I like him. He's a good guy. And he said, I hate to see him depose like this. There's a reason Trump did that, because he wanted this. He wanted Bill to defend him, to vindicate him, to exonerate him, at least as far as Bill knows. This was I can't picture Hillary doing this, but Bill did it. Bill went to the defense of Donald Trump yesterday. Here it is.
I hate this, but because I don't believe I should inject anything. But I do not want to leave the impression, since there was no follow-up question. The president never, this is 20-something years ago, never said anything to me to make me think he was involved in anything improper with regard to Epstein either. He just didn't. That's the truth. As I said earlier, the only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in the early 2000s. And I have no information that he did anything wrong. I just want it all out there. I want everybody to get it all out there and let everybody see where we are.
Bill explained the pool and the hot tub, saying it was a long flight. The Crown Prince of Bahrain, that was in a hotel room, that pool and that hot tub. And he went for a swim. He went in the hot tub for 5 minutes and then went to bed. And he was asked, did you have sex? He said, nope. But the best part, the funniest part, Bill's lawyers, the woman on his left, the guy on his right, are just hanging on him, and they're grabbing the papers and they're stopping him from answering anything. They are just pit bulls, and they're not going to let this doddering old man, step in it. I guess that's their job. But here is Bill giving photos from the good old days. He's got, look at the picture. That's the picture in the hot tub. And he is going down memory lane. He's looking at them, smiling about those days, when he was in his prime and he was traveling the world with Jeffrey Epstein, having a great time. And his lawyer snatches it out of his hand. You're not going to do that, Bill. you know what? The Clintons are going to pay no price. There'll be no indictment. There'll be no arrest. There'll be no real accountability. But I feel like this was enough. Maybe not enough, but this was something. They were humiliated in front of the world. Bill looks so guilty, and he looks so broken and beaten and defeated and done. He's younger than Joe Biden. I think he's younger than Trump. He'll be 80 in the summer, I think. And he looks like, he looks like one of those World War II vets, 105-year-old guys. That's what Bill looks like now. But he had his fun, and he had a little flicker in his eye when he looked at the photos and heard the stories and remembered those days. But then he had to come home to this. Here is Hillary button heads with Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert under questioning. Is this when she found out they released the photo, that Boebert released the photo from Betty Johnson?
Yeah.
She sort of storms off. Watch.
Excuse me, can I interrupt?
I have
There
another.
are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that
I'm
can
done
occur?
with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's
So I would
sake.
like to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was,
It doesn't
Excuse me.
matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So I
well,
would like to take a break at this moment.
yeah,
and I'd like to have
I'm
a
done
conversation.
for now.
Go off the
I'm
record.
done for now. And she storms off, and they go off the record. It wasn't fair to Hillary, not that I care, but Bill is involved up to his eyeballs. Bill, we know, is guilty as hell. We've seen the photos, we've heard the stories. He was on the Lolita Express 27 times. What? I was thinking about this. I haven't been in my best friend's car 27 times. I mean, that is a lot. And 8 years of it, he was president. So somehow he managed 27 overseas trips on this jet with sex-trafficked young women. And he will, again, not pay a price, but I think this is more than I ever expected. He was humiliated on the world stage and asked if he had sex with any underage girls. And he said exactly what you expect. Oh, me? Never. I did not have sex with that Russian hooker. Now I got to get back to work for the American people. It was hilarious, and Trump was probably pretty damn happy with Bill's answer. All right, we got to get to Trump. Let me get to this now. Trump was on a roll yesterday. He said Megyn Kelly and Tucker, they're not MAGA, went after them. He made phone calls to Jake Tapper and Jonathan Karl to talk about the war. What? I mean, I guess I just have to live with the fact that Trump will always try to be accepted. He'll always try to win over these people who hate him, these fake news frauds who are working full-time for the Democrat Party. He wants to win them over. It's not going to happen, but he will never stop trying. So he announced yesterday, and this was weird, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. We know what that is. Just a bunch of Democrats posing as media people, as reporters, as anchors who get together, all get together, get drunk, eat, and talk about how wonderful they are, how brave they are as journalists fighting for the First Amendment. We know they're hacks. We see it every year. We mock it every year. Trump, to this point, has blown it off. Good, he should. Well, he announced that this year he's going to show up, and he did it in classic Trump style. Here is his Truth Social post. I got to admit, I laughed out loud. The White House Correspondents Association has asked me very nicely to be the honoree at this year's dinner, a long and storied tradition since it began in 1924 under President Calvin Coolidge. In honor of our nation's 250th birthday and the fact that these correspondents now admit that I am truly one of the greatest presidents in the history of our country, the GOAT, according to many, it will be my honor to accept the invitation and work to make it the greatest, hottest, and most spectacular dinner of any kind ever. Because the press was extraordinarily bad to me, fake news all, right from the beginning, I boycotted the event and never went as an honoree. However, I look forward to being with everyone this year. Hopefully, it'll be something very special. Thanks for your attention to this matter. You know who the host is? A mind reader. I was just reading this. A mentalist and a mind reader is going to be up there with Trump on the dais. But this will be wild. April 25th, mark it down. Trump's going to go there with his friends in the White House press corps. That is going to be wild. All right, I still got to get to the ceremony yesterday, which was spectacular. They honored the Medal of Honor recipients, which was great, and just the most amazing video out of the Middle East since this war began. A pilot who was shot down by friendly fire over Kuwait. She ended up in the desert, just hanging out, waiting to be rescued when some Kuwaitis came upon her. Just a remarkable scene. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
A well-built wardrobe is about pieces that work together and hold up over time. That's what Quince does best. Premium materials, thoughtful design, and everyday staples that feel easy to wear and easy to rely on, even as the weather shifts. Quince has the everyday essentials I love with quality that lasts. Organic cotton sweaters, polos for every occasion, lighter jackets that keep you warm in the changing seasons. The list goes on. Quince works directly with top factories and cuts out the middleman, so you're not paying brand markup, just quality clothing. Everything is built to hold up to daily wear and still look good season after season. Plus, they only partner with factories that meet rigorous standards for craftsmanship and ethical production. I got a couple of Quince shirts, and I'm telling you, I love them. They were inexpensive, and I'm a cheap bastard, so that matters. And they've held up really well after a few washes, good as new. So refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/Gerry for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/Gerry. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Gerry. There was a ceremony yesterday. You may have missed it at the White House. I absolutely love this. We don't do this enough. It was remarkable. Trump honored 3 Medal of Honor recipients. One living, a Vietnam vet whose story was just amazing. One American lost his life protecting a Polish colleague, and they brought the Polish officer in to speak. It was amazing. The guy's parents were there. It was just heart-wrenching. It was emotional. It made you proud. I mean, in the middle of what we're going through, to know what kind of people we have fighting for us, just the best of the best. But the highlight was this remarkable story. And when you hear this, when I heard it, I thought, why didn't I know this? Why didn't I know about Roderick Edmonds, this hero, Sergeant Roderick Edmonds from U.S. fighting in the Battle of the Bulge, taken prisoner in a German POW camp, and he was the top guy. He's a sergeant. He was the top guy out of 1,200 American prisoners, and things were coming to an end. And the Germans were wondering, are they going to kill us all? Well, they weren't going to kill them all. They were just going to kill the Jews, kill the Jewish American prisoners. And Roderick Edmonds just heroically stopped them. Here's Trump telling the story, and then they give the Medal of Honor to Roderick Edmonds' son.
Roddy soon found himself on the front lines of the Battle of the Bulge. That was a big one, massively outnumbered by enemy forces. His 1,200 soldier unit fought valiantly until they were completely overrun. The force was massive on the other side, many times the number. After a 4-day death march, one that was covered very well by the history books, through bitter cold, they were put into a German POW camp. Roddy was the top-ranking infantryman in the camp. He was number one, meaning he was responsible for the lives of his fellow service members. On July 26, 1945, a Nazi SS officer issued an order over the camp loudspeaker, loud and strong. He said that only American Jews were to show up to roll call following this morning. He added, all who disobey this order will be shot immediately. There were more than 200 Jewish American soldiers in the camp, and Roddy knew their separation from the group would mean certain death. So that night he summoned his team and devised a plan. The next morning, all 1,200 American men fell in line together, shoulder to shoulder. Enraged, the Nazi commandant rushed forward, drew his Luger pistol, and pressed the barrel between Sergeant Edmonds' eyes. He barked at Roddy. They cannot all be Jews, he screamed loud and again, and staring straight back into the raging face of evil. Sergeant Edmonds replied fearlessly, we are all Jews here. The Nazi officer lowered his weapon and the soldiers erupted in cheers. With total disregard for his own life, Roddy had saved over 200 of his fellow service members. Their camp was liberated 2 months later. We're honored to be joined today by Roddy's son, Chris. Please stand up as Thank you, Chris. Today, your father gets the honor he so courageously earned. And really amazing, right? It's an amazing story.
Why do we have to wait 80 years for this? Why don't we all know the story of Roddy Edmonds, a gun held between his eyes, said, tell us who the Jews are. And he said, we're all Jews. Why hasn't there been a movie made about this? Sounds like it'd be a great movie. We've seen plenty of movies about the Battle of the Bulge. Maybe there has been. Maybe I just missed Roddy Edmonds' story. That was great. Almost as good was the story of Terry Richardson, from a retired command sergeant major from Vietnam. He credited with saving the lives of 85 of his comrades. September 14th, 1968. He's still alive. He was there. And I just watched the guy. He's getting old. He's not in great shape. He was shot a bunch of times. He saved 85 of his fellow soldiers under enemy fire. That is the definition of extraordinary valor. Just amazing story. And the guy from Afghanistan, Michael Olis of New York, killed in action in 2013. Killed for saving a Polish officer and others from enemy fire. His parents were there. It was amazing. I love these ceremonies. We should do this once a week. There's got to be plenty of stories like that we haven't heard that we should know, and we don't, and that's a shame. But good job by Trump yesterday, pinning that Medal of Honor on these guys or handing it to them, to their family members. Framed, just remarkable. The best of America. All right, let's do I have time to do this? The worst of America. I want to do the worst of America. We told you about the illegal alien who slaughtered a woman, a mother, at a bus stop in Virginia. Told you the story of the mother's name was Stephanie Minter, 41 years old, just getting off a bus. stabbed by an illegal alien who shouldn't be here. Abdul Jallo, an illegal alien from Sierra Leone, who'd been arrested 30 times for many, many crimes, including rape. So an illegal alien commits rape, and Democrats released him back into the community instead of handing him over. He had multiple detention orders. He was supposed to be deported, but they don't do that. Democrats don't do that. Even when you commit 30 crimes, 30, it should be one, it should be none. And Mr. Jola should be removed from our community. He was released over and over and over again until he killed a 41-year-old mother for no reason, just stabbed her to death while getting off a bus in Virginia. And here's what's truly remarkable. And obviously, this is what Democrats do. They protect illegal alien criminals. That's their number one priority right now. Sanctuary cities and states are sanctuaries for illegal alien criminals, for the worst of the worst. So Abigail Spanberger, the new governor of Virginia, this far-left extremist who pretended she was a moderate and got elected, the woman who gave the rebuttal, the response to the State of the Union, just an absolute deranged Democrat lunatic. She was asked yesterday, will she release Abdul Jola, after he pays the price for murdering an innocent woman? She said no. I mean, she will not hand him over. She said she would not hand him over to ICE. The first thing she did when she took office was end any cooperation with ICE. The sheriffs, the cops are pissed. Virginia already is bad. But she released a statement saying she will not honor an ICE detainer against the illegal alien with 30 prior arrests who's now in custody for murder. Instead, she said they demand that ICE get a signed judicial warrant before they'll turn him over. So they're going to hold the line against ICE, even when an illegal alien slaughters, butchers an American mother, an innocent woman at a bus stop. So the worst of the worst line, it's a lie. They don't mean it. If you're illegal here, they got your back. If you're an illegal who's committed rape and dozens, here's a list of offenses: rape, malicious wounding, assault, drug possession, identity theft, trespassing, larceny, firing a weapon, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and pickpocketing, and now murder. That's not enough for Democrats to say, yes, as soon as he does his time here, then we're giving him to ICE and getting him the hell out, send him back to Sierra Leone. No, she says, no, we will not. They are insane. That's why I still have hope for the midterms, because they can't stop being crazy. That is just sickening. I read this story. She's survived by her son, her mother, 3 brothers. The motive's unclear. He just stabbed her because she was standing there and he had nothing better to do. And the governor says they will not hand him over. That's your Democrat Party today. Illegal aliens come first. All right, that will do it for today. This day 3 of the war in Iran. See how it goes. Hopefully that number of casualties, which is at 6, is fortunately the 6 people, the pilots and the other 3 in the 3 jets, 3 F-15s shot down over Kuwait, by Kuwait. I got so many questions about this. These jets cost $31 million each. Please tell me Kuwait wrote a check for the $93 million by the end of the day. Shot down 3 of our jets, all 6 of the pilots and co-pilots or whatever they navigate, they all ejected safely. That is amazing. Again, our military is amazing. Here's one, a female pilot who ejected, parachuted to the ground, hit hard, but appears to be okay. A Kuwaiti guy runs up to her. Look at this. This is one badass pilot smiling. You can't hear her, but you can hear him. Listen, can you play it? You can hear him saying, "Are you okay?" I'm sure she's looking at him.
Fine. Really? You need something to help you? No problem. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. Everything good? No problem. Thank you for helping us. Everything going perfect?
Thank you for helping us as we shoot you out of the sky.
I get tingles watching that. Did she know she was in Kuwait safe?
Yeah, I think so.
Even if you know you're in Kuwait, you don't know who's coming up to you in the middle of the desert. And she's smart. She just hit the ground hard. Just ejected from a jet and landed. And she said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good." I assume she's going to be back flying soon. Hopefully, our friends in Kuwait can tell the difference between a U.S. fighter jet in Iraq and are there any Iranian fighter jets over the skies at this point? I think you should check twice next time, Kuwait, but good for her. Thank God she's okay. And man, she is impressive. All right, that'll do it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
First question I have for you, Mr. President. Have you ever lied in a deposition?
No.
Have you ever lied while under oath?